I've spent a bit of my time over my 76 years looking at myself and making self-portrait paintings by seeing what I look like in a mirror. In the next few minutes, you are going to be looking at me, my self-portrait paintings, and my self-portraits will be looking at you. I decide I'm going to do a portrait of myself, so I get a mirror, sit in front of my easel, and with all my supplies laid out, I start to look at myself. Then I start to paint. I try to look at myself as carefully as possible to see what I have in front of me, and off I go. When I was in junior or senior high school, I discovered that by looking in a mirror and studying myself, I could make a portrait. Originally, I tried to do it as accurately as possible. I wanted to see if I could make a likeness of myself. I was pleasantly surprised to see that I could do it. Initially, I tried to draw and paint like a Renaissance artist. You can see this in one of my 1950s self-portrait etching in the style of Rembrandt, and in the painting that presents myself as a young Renaissance man. But I quickly moved past this type of interest as a result of a trip to Europe and the museums when I discovered more modern painting. Even though I remained pretty realistic in my early portraits, I found myself more influenced by modern painting, Van Gogh, Soutine, and others. I'm not a portrait painter per se by any means. Most of my work deals with a human figure, and it tends to be expressive and expressionistic, based on my memory and imagination, as well as sketches I make from nature, from life. I think I like to do portraits from time to time as a relief from my usual work, which, as I said before, is based on my imagination and memory, as opposed to observation. My portraits try to express what I see in front of me, as well as my response to the sitter. I've done many portraits of friends as well as my self-portraits. I don't usually do commissions, though I've done a few. In my portraits, particularly the self-portraits, I've tried to get a sense of who I am, trying to see myself. It's an ongoing, lifelong process because I don't think we ever see ourselves objectively. On top of that, we are constantly changing, and our experience of ourselves is also changing. It's very exciting since I never know what's going to emerge. I experiment with various techniques and different approaches. In the last 5 or 10 years, I've tried to be more expressive and interpretive in the portraits I've made of myself and of some of my other sitters, so that the work in the end of the series you see here becomes more abstract. I'm pleased with that level of abstraction. I'm pleased because the painting serves both as a self-portrait and a painting. If it were not even a portrait, it would still be an interesting painting, I think. I always hope that will be the case. Doing the portraits and being able to look back at them over the years, as we are doing now, has given me a good idea of how I have developed. Looking at a person and not being too dominated, trying to please or flatter them, giving myself enough freedom to go beyond trying to replicate what I'm seeing is a great challenge and a great thrill to be able to participate in. The great thrill of being able to make images, to make art. Thanks for looking at me as I looked at myself over 50 years and continue to do.